Bug Nation
Squad
coming to you live from a virtual studio on a Victory Monday. It's DNVR Buffs Live. Felt good to say that, man.
What? I can't agree with you. It is.
I said it felt good to say that, bro. Why you gotta be so defensive? Sheesh.
Bro, my bad, bro. I thought you were saying that I can't say that. Honestly, bro, I'm just gonna get it out the way, bro. I'm just gonna get it out the way at the gate right now, bro. I don't know how many Sundays we're gonna get this year where my Bears win and your team don't exactly do that.
Why'd you have to do that, bro?
Out the gate, bro. It was on my mind, bro.
Why'd you have to do that?
I just had to speak on it. You know what I'm saying, bro? I can't be proud of my team, bro. My team, like I said, I don't know how many of them we gonna get. So I'm gonna talk my mess out the gate, bro. I'm just happy about my team, bro. It was a victory Sunday. It's a victory Monday to me, bro. I'm feeling pretty good right now this Monday morning, even though it is a little early. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling pretty excited,
bro. You can be proud about your team and not like pick at my wounds, bro. Like you don't have to do that at the same time. They're mutually exclusive, not tied to each other.
But I just got so much like, just Broncos stuff on my timeline right now. It's pretty, I don't know. It's pretty funny. Y'all will be all right, though. You know what I'm saying? It's still early. You know what I'm saying?
Man, shut your ass up. I don't want to hear this from you, bro.
Y'all will be all right, bro. Don't worry.
Oh, my God. I'm coming into the show thinking we're going to have a great, finally got a win. We're going to finally get to talk about some happy stuff. And then this is what I get out the gate. Oh, my Lord. What's up, chat? How's everyone doing?
What up, chat?
Yeah, just a short Monday show. Someone got upset with us last Monday because we weren't in studio for the Monday show. Just should be thankful you get this show, honestly. We're going to be doing a final thoughts, standouts, and we'll talk a little bit of Big 12. Yeah, where do you want to start, bro?
I want to start with the guy, the solidified guy, Kaidon Salter, right? There was a lot of talk going into last week about what things would look like on Saturday. I mean, let's get this straight out the gate, right? That was a game that they were supposed to win. That was a team that they were supposed to beat. They did both of those things, but like I said a little bit on Saturday night after the game, the way that they did it feels sustainable, right? It feels repeatable, especially with Kaidon's comfortability, his decisiveness, his mobility. He did not seem afraid to run, to take off, whether it was, obviously a design run, which I don't know if we saw. Do you remember a design quarterback run? I don't think there was one other than maybe a zone read that obviously he took to the crib late in the game, but that's fine. That type of zone read stuff, he's going to get opportunities to keep the ball and use his athleticism. And that's just what this offense has to be about, right? We talked a lot about identity going into last week in terms of this should be a run-first team. Kaidon should be a big part of that. And we saw why on Saturday night, right? 86 rushing yards. He already leads this team in rushing. He leads his team in rushing this season after only playing in, let's call it 2.5 games so far this season. And it's not because the rest of the guys – haven't been able to, put up numbers on the rushing totals as well. So, like I said, Kaidon's comfortability, his decisiveness, his willingness to run and use his legs and his athleticism, I think was what everybody needed to see, especially going into, obviously, a big week this week against BYU, because that's a good defense right there. That's a good football team.
Yeah.
And as well as Kaidon played on Saturday against Wyoming, he's going to have to play even better this weekend and moving forward for this team to reach the heights that they want to reach.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember what RK said after the Georgia Tech game?
He said a lot, brother.
He did. But about this offense, he said, this offense needs to be Kaidon Salter, go make plays. And that's what it was. I loved all the rollout stuff, all the options that they gave him, in terms of, deciding whether to run or pass. And it's exactly what he does best, in those situations. Also, he's just an electrifying runner, man. And I this is like become a negative thing. We've talked about this, not on the air, but like he really is like a running back with how guys like slide off of him. Like he is so strong as a runner. There was a run late in the game. I can't remember what point they were going left, but he like ran out to the, I think it was like a 3rd and long or something, but he ran out there and he's like near the sideline and guys are just literally sliding off of him. Yeah. So get that man in the open field. And let's get these receivers involved, man. I loved seeing that. I mean, 9 targets for O, only 1 for JoJo, only 1, or just technically 3 for Sincere. But like, it's just what we were saying all offseason, all, in the lead up to this season. Just give these guys chances. And what better time with Sedarian Morgan in the building to have your receivers finally catch some momentum, because, we haven't really talked about that. And if you want, we can do that a little bit on this show. But he's clearly the number 1 target for the Buffs in the 2026 class. There's the ties to Alabama and all that, that, led to his commitment to there. But he's clearly very intrigued by the program. And when he's able to see that, in person, man, I can only imagine what's going through his mind right now.
No doubt. I mean, that was a showing you kind of had to have in front of guys like Sedarian Morgan, who are in the building, right? An Alabama commit, the number 1 receiver in this 2026 class, true 5-star. And like you said, I mean, watching Amarion Miller get 9 targets, which is a beautiful thing and something that I hope we see week in and week out.
Please
that
God.
had to be a good sign. Watching Sincere Brown, kind of take off for, another big play, 29 yards a catch this season. Among Big 12 players who have at least 7 catches this season, Sincere Brown leads the conference in yards per catch with 29, which is just ridiculous. Like a big play waiting. Yeah. There's at least 3 receivers on this team right now who are averaging at least 18 yards a catch, being Sincere, O, and JoJo as well. So that was awesome to see. And that was a big talking point, right? Coming out of Georgia Tech, coming out of Delaware, right? Got to get these receivers involved, because it's one of the strongest, most deepest, most talented position groups on this team. And to, go a game or even 2 weeks without having really seen those guys, at least at their best, or at least targeted and involved, is something that nobody wants to see. And it was awesome to, watch those guys kind of, at least Omarion have his best game of the year, Sincere have another big game, JoJo score for the 2nd straight week. That was awesome to see. Defensively, as we go into Big 12 play, right? LJ Martin, I mentioned him briefly, I think, after the show on Saturday, BYU running back. I mean, he's running the ball better than anybody, not just in the Big 12, but in college football right now. There was a tweet earlier today. You probably saw this, Jake. LJ Martin, 8.5 yards a carry this season. One of only 3 FBS players averaging 8.5 yards per carry with at least 40 carries. Like this, he's their offense right now. Him and Bear Bachmeier, their true freshman quarterback, both of those guys utilize heavy in the run game, and that's their offense right now. And, obviously this defense has struggled to defend the quarterback run dating back to last season, even dating back to 2023 a little bit. That's priority number 1, right? To use the Coach Livingston adage, make opponents play with their left hand or with their right hand tied behind their back. Like, make Bear Bachmeier throw the football. He don't want to do it. And they don't really have the personnel to do that. They have one really good receiver who I like. Chase Roberts is back from last year. They got a really good tight end, Carson Ryan, as well. But their offense, what they want to do, what their identity is run the football with LJ Martin, getting Bear Bachmeier involved in the quarterback run game. And Robert Livingston, this defense, got to be up for it. Got to be up for the challenge.
Totally. I mean, that was maybe the most encouraging thing we saw from Saturday night was just seeing this defense dig their heels in. Obviously the Houston game was very concerning with how they handled the quarterback run, how they handled the run game in general, really, especially going into this conference play. I mean, who was it? Dalton from PFF. Wasn't he the one who said it last year? Like, the team who wins the Big 12 is going to be the team who runs the ball the best and who stops the run the best. That hasn't changed. And it's going to be, I would say the first big test, but you already played Georgia Tech and Houston. I think that's an advantage for this team. This team is kind of they're battle tested, especially compared to BYU. I'm pulling up their schedule right now, but I mean, Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina, compared to the slate that Colorado's had to handle with Georgia Tech starting the season. It's just, and someone mentions, YF Mike mentions payback in the chat. Like, that taste has to stay in your mouth from that Alamo Bowl. Like, I know that there's a lot going on with this team right now, and we feel a lot better today than we did this time last week in terms of where the team is, where they're gelling and all that. But you got to remember that last year. Like, I need someone to try and tell Kaidon how much that loss hurt, even though he wasn't there. Even though O wasn't on the field healthy for that. Like, I want these guys to truly understand, how bad of a game that was and how much they need to get back, really just for the fan base, like for the vibes. Like,
yeah.
Can you think of that, man? Like, honestly, you beat this team, the team that just embarrassed you 9 months ago. How much better you're feeling, even though it's only 3-2 going into the rest of the slate. So, yeah, this is massive coming up this weekend.
It's a massive game. And to your point, there should be plenty of guys on this team who played in that BYU game, that Alamo Bowl, and were left with that taste in their mouths. I'm thinking of, DJ McKinney, Arden Walker, Jordan Seaton. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of guys who should be able to relay that message of like, hey, we got to get our lick back. We ain't going 0-2 against these boys. Again, especially, when they're not as good as they were last year and whatnot. So, Smuggles mentioned it there. Arden mentioned it, how we need to be white. They know. They know for sure. And I trust the leadership from the player perspective to get that done. And I tweeted it yesterday. Massive opportunity this weekend. Massive opportunity the next 3 weeks. Colorado's next 3 opponents are currently ranked in the AP top 25. BYU starts it off. They're ranked 25. I think who is it after that? Iowa State is 14. The week at TCU is 24. Yep. So the next 3 weeks you're playing top 25 teams, and we have plenty of time to talk about this. But as far as I'm concerned, for this team to be where us two thought it would be, a lot of people thought it would be at this. You got to win 2 of these next 3. You got to win 2 of these next 3 to be at least. Right. And obviously, ideally, you go 3-0, but you got to win 2 of these next 3 to set yourself up, to be where you want to be down the stretch. And I think it's certainly plausible. I think it has to start with a win this week. You can't lose to a true freshman quarterback. I'm sorry, especially this early in his development when he hasn't even really played anybody. You mentioned the teams that BYU has opened their season with, and it's nobody to the caliber of Colorado and Colorado's defense. So that has to be a win. And then from there, Iowa State and TCU, those are two really good teams. Like at this point, they might look like the cream of the crop when it comes to the Big 12 right now. So you handle that when you get there. But BYU is a massive opportunity and a game that you got at the crib. Ralphie 7 is back. You payback is on your side. You got to handle this one for sure.
Totally, man. Real quick, Ralphie take. She was moving, bro. Like I'm just taking in all the videos and like all the stills of like the moment she gets out the gate and stuff. Like,
yeah,
goddamn. Like the video from like up in the press box does not do it justice. Honestly, like when you see the videos on the field of how fast she was moving out the gates, man, that's eye opening. Standouts, real quick, before we go to Big 12. Who you got?
Aside from Kaidon, obviously was my big standout. How about his brother? How about Kaidon
Yes,
Salter?
bro. Yes.
Only played 5 snaps defensively wise because I think he's on kickoff as well, but only 5 defensive snaps. Those are his first defensive snaps of the season. And he flashed. He made the most of those limited reps. 2 tackles in those 5 snaps, 1 tackle for loss. He currently, at this point, again, it's only 5 snaps. It's a really limited sample size, but he is currently, according to Pro Football Focus, the highest ranked defensive player on this team. So, again, with BYU coming to town with a lot of rushing attacks, on the schedule here, it wouldn't surprise me if Kylan, who had a really strong spring game in particular, it wouldn't surprise me with after Saturday how he performed if he doesn't earn or carve out a bigger role in that linebacker room moving forward. So both of the Salters were big winners for me coming out of Saturday.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention him as well. It was only 5 snaps at the end of the game, but he had 2 run stops in those 5 snaps. Yeah. And it was just like kind of like what we saw from Sean Myers. Reggie and Martavius, I think, have done a decent job right now of like holding those guys off because clearly there's something there, behind them. And we've needed to see progression from Martavius and Reggie. So I was going to give flowers to Reggie in particular, but I'll give flowers to both of them. They both made some plays, and I think they stepped up, when a lot of people were kind of coming for their heads a bit, honestly. There's been a lot of talk about this linebacker room going back to, last season. And it's a work in progress, just like everything else. Right. And, I think those guys now 4 games in, they've got their feet under them a bit more. We heard Reggie talk on the pregame show on Friday. I think that they're starting to get it a lot more. I think they're starting to kind of take the torch and lead this defense a little bit too. You have to. You're some of the older players on that team, most experienced players on that team. So shout out to the linebacking core. They did a solid job this last weekend, and they're going to have to keep it up. I mean, if this team's going to stand a chance, this weekend, obviously, but moving forward, Iowa State's going to be a big one with their RPO game and what they want to do in terms of running the football. You need these linebackers to show out, man. And if it's not Reggie or Martavius, knowing that we have a Kaidon Salter and that we have a Sean Myers, Mantrez Walker, there's some depth there. JB, like there's options in that room, and I'm feeling a lot better about that room than I did after Georgia Tech right now.
I agree. I'm feeling really good about this offensive line as well, too, man. Obviously, Pete Nichols, Trevor for the show at On3 tweeted that Jordan Seaton has a hamstring injury and that he's questionable for this week against BYU. So obviously we'll hoping and praying that, the franchise is out there fully healthy and ready to go this weekend. But, Coach Prime did say after the game that all those guys, Simeon, who is hurt, Kalen, Zai as well, they all should be good and ready to go. But obviously a lot of we'll be watching for Jordan Seaton status, obviously, throughout the week. But Yo-Yo Atia, man, stood out to me. And I tweeted it during the game. They were using them early, which I love to see. We're talking about creativity from the offense from Pat Shurmur. Using Yo-Yo as a sixth offensive lineman, pretty much lining him up as a tight end to open up running lanes. It was working early on, too. I think he was in for pretty much, maybe 4 or 5 straight plays on one of those first drives of the game.
Yeah.
And then when Zy Crisler exited the game early at right guard, it was Yo-Yo in there for him. And this offensive line didn't really miss a beat, right? And I love that. And Yo-Yo is somebody who obviously came from overseas and, didn't play much at all last year aside from some special team stuff. But, again, this spring, this fall, really seemed to transform his body and earn the trust of the guys in that room and his coaches. And I think we saw evidence of that on Saturday against Wyoming. Like, he has low-key become a valuable part of this offensive line unit. And at this point of the season as well, according to Pro Football Focus, he is currently the highest graded run blocker on this football team, 74.2 grade. So shout out to Yo-Yo, man. One of the most fun-loving players on the team, so easy to root for. Still a young guy, too. And like I said, he's become a valuable part of this offensive line. You love to see it.
I mean, you just crushed it there. I love that they're using him as like that, tight end, 6 offensive line too. So he's technically eligible. He's able to like motion around and do all this stuff. Like, I'm sure that's why his grade is so high on PFF, because this guy's getting ahead of steam before he's making collisions. So shout out to him, man. I mean, we talked a lot about this offensive line, a lot about the depth of this offensive line. And honestly, I think at times we just didn't mention his name when it came to a lot of that. And he's clearly within the top 7, maybe even top 6. Depending on where Andre Roy slots in or Kareem Harden slots in, with all that. So definitely shout out to him. Shout out to the offensive line as well. Again, remember, only 1 sack. And that 1 sack was Kaidon was great. That sack was on him, though. He's the one who ran back, and he should have thrown it away. Like,
if I'm not mistaken, I think on Pro Football Focus, I don't think still a sack has been credited to this offensive line. I think
100% correct, bro.
Yeah, I think Staub is taken 2, and I think both of those are credited to him. And both of the sacks that K-Salt has taken, I think, have been credited to him as well. So this offensive line has been balling, man.
Facts.
Shout out to Gunnar White. And honestly, I thought about this last night too. Shout out to Zarian McGill, bro. He needs some flowers and appreciation post. Like, I thought about it because we haven't said his name at all. And that is a great thing to say about your starting center.
Mm-hmm. Second highest graded pass blocker behind Jordan Seaton this last week. And he's been up there pretty consistently, at least the last 3 weeks or so. Yeah. Any other standouts you wanted to touch on before we go to kind of Big 12 and everything
else?
About
somebody who had over 100 yards on Saturday night. Quentin Gibson, 112 yards in the return game, in the kick return game specifically, because he also had a punt return. But I think he averaged, 28 yards, a kick return on Saturday night. Yeah, 28 yards, 112 total yards, had a 46-yard return. And, we talked about it a little bit after the show or after the game on Saturday, man. It's only a matter of time until that boy Quinn Gibson is hitting this right here in the end zone after going crazy. It's only a matter of time, man. And it's only a matter of time, too, before he gets truly involved offensively, right? He only has 1 catch on the season, but that's not going to last long. Like, he is a real weapon. His game-breaking speed, his elusiveness is going to find himself in the end zone before too long.
Yeah, I mean, given the injuries at running back right now, I mean, I just have to wonder, are we going to see more Draylon? Are we going to see more Q for 6 in the backfield? Like, you're almost at a point already where, depending on Simeon Price's and DK's availability that you're going to have to get a little creative at this point. So the good news is this is a Big 12 game this week, so we will get official injury reports. So we'll get some info and intel.
Starting Wednesday night, correct? Or is it Thursday night, the first one?
Well, when was it Wednesday for Houston?
I think so. But that was a Friday night game, though.
Right,
so
probably Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Big 12. There's some big games coming up this week, and we'll talk about those later. I mean, you mentioned the ranked teams coming up on the schedule. TCU plays ASU this weekend. So,
Friday night, right?
Yeah. So we'll learn about that one. But going back to week 4, how many more days does Mike Gundy have?
A limited amount. A very limited amount of days left. Who do they got this week?
I don't know. I'm looking it up. They lost 19-12 to Tulsa, and they're gonna welcome in Baylor this weekend.
Oh man, Baylor coming off a loss too. Yeah, that could get ugly. That could get ugly. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly thought a loss to your in-state little brother last week would have did it. Honestly, especially coming off the week before where they got absolutely trounced by Oregon. I thought that kind of 2-week stretch, coming off of the end of last year would have kind of done it. But
yeah,
at this point, I don't know. At this point, it feels like they're just going to stick with them for the rest of the year. So I don't know. Only thing I do know is I'm pissed that they're not on Colorado's schedule this year.
Totally, I know. Yeah, we'll see. That program is a disaster right now.
You saw they just added like a quarterback too last week in the middle.
I did see that. Yes,
like previously quit like at another school and like he was just going to school as a regular student and now he just joined the Cowboys, the Oklahoma State football team midweek, like mid-season.
Yeah, insanity, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go to Texas Tech first. This game was early on. Halftime. It's a 10-3 game. Texas Tech has the lead. Then
turnover fest to the first half.
And then Morton gets hurt. He takes a big shot.
Yeah.
He goes down. And then is it Will Hammond? Yeah, Will Hammond comes in and looks like he should have been starting all along and leads Texas Tech to 24 fourth-quarter points. I know turnovers played a role in that for sure, but, man, they were like running all over Utah. And this is a defense that we couldn't say enough good things about, the week before.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech, I mentioned earlier, Iowa State and TCU kind of look like the cream of the crop of the Big 12. It's actually probably Texas Tech. They're certainly in that conversation. I said it a lot this offseason. Like, that's the best defense in this conference. They got elite playmakers at all 3 levels. Mm-hmm. And especially on the defensive line, like on the edge and in the interior, like they have dogs. The reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year is their starting linebacker, the quarterback, the heart of that defense, Jacob Rodriguez. They added Wisniewski in the secondary. They already had some talent in secondary to begin with. Joey McGuire got those boys ready to go. And obviously Cody Campbell got them boys ready to go as well this offseason. And they look like a team that spent, what was it, $28 million, something crazy like that on this roster. They look like a team that spent that amount of money on this roster. And I mean, Utah, Dampier didn't look great. Like I said to the show, that was the best defense he's faced in his life. And they got to figure out a vertical passing game. But I think I think Utah's still going to be in the mix at season's end. I think this was maybe a wake-up call that they needed, especially after the early part of their schedule.
This is probably a wake-up call for the whole Big 12, seeing how Texas Tech played right there. I mean, I think obviously there's a lot of hype, and it's finally looking real, though, after that game. I mean, 34-10 in Salt Lake is pretty insane.
Put it on them. And they was trying to send a message late in that game, too.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they weren't done scoring until it was triple zeros.
Nah. What do you do with that, though? Assuming Morton's healthy this week, how do you play that?
Oh, boy.
I know. Yeah, it's tough. Because, I mean, Will Hammond got juice. Like, they was running him. I think I was looking today. He's, like, maybe, like, the 3rd highest leading rusher in the Big 12, at least, in terms of quarterbacks.
Look, this looked kind of like a playoff team to me. And it looked like a playoff team with Will Hammond. that's just what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude's he's fourth among Big 12 quarterbacks in rushing this season, only behind Dampier, Levitt, and Sorsby. 169 rushing yards on 15 carries for Wilhelm this year, 11 yards a carry.
He was going crazy.
He was.
And didn't he get his first, or like one of his first? He played against CU, right? He came in late in the game, didn't he? Am I remembering right?
Maybe, because Morton was getting his ass beat at the end of that game too. It might have been one of those situations. Yeah,
I can't remember. Man, TCU, Eric McAllister went crazy. Talk about your boy.
My boy. Tried to tell people it's lost. I want to know. I really believe I might have been the only media member outside of Fort Worth to vote Josh Hoover first team preseason All Big 12 and Eric McAllister first team All Big 12 preseason. Like, that's a lethal combo. And you mentioned they got another Jordan Dwyer. Like, they got an elite duo or receiver. Josh Hoover, to me, looks like the best quarterback in the conference so far this season as well. TCU is nice, man, and that is going to be another, again, massive opportunity in Fort Worth in a couple weeks. I mean, dropping 30. I mean, they're gonna score 30 on everybody. I mean, that's just what it is. They're gonna score at least 30 on every single body they play, and that puts pressure on the opponent. It really does. But yeah, TCU, that's a big win against an in-state rival SMU team that was a playoff team last year. Beating them by 11 at the crib is a massive win. Bro, is UCF good, bro?
Hold on. Not to. We'll get there. All
right.
Not to look ahead too much, though. But I mean, man, what an opportunity for DJ McKinney in 2 weeks when Eric McAllister, when they travel to Fort Worth to take on Eric McAllister and the Horned Frogs. I mean, he could prove himself as one of, if not the top corners in the draft against that guy, man. I mean, 8 receptions, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 31.8 yards of reception, bro.
Yeah, I mentioned Sincere Brown leading the Big 12 and yards per catch at 29. Right behind him is Eric McAllister. I think he's at like 27 or something like that. It's crazy for this season. He is a dog. Like, that's a sideboard. And he was doing that last year. Like I said, big catches. Big, like I'm talking about damn near 20 yards per catch last season on a team in the receiving core with 3 other dudes who either got drafted or ended up on NFL teams this year. So, man, that's probably one of my takes that's looking the best from the preseason is TCU, because it's not a lot of other stuff because, I'm not going to mention other stuff, but yeah.
Is UCF good, or is North Carolina just like generationally bad?
Bro, North Carolina just might be dog water, bro. They might just be god awful. I think that's where I'm leaning right now, because, I mean, again, you look at their results, North Carolina through 4 weeks. They got dog walked at home in week 1 against TCU. They beat Charlotte the next week 20-3.
Yeah.
They get back on track last week against Richmond 41-6, and then they look like a different class of team on the lower side against UCF on Saturday. And they got Clemson this week. They got Cal after that, who Cal suffered a bad loss this weekend, but they got a really talented true freshman quarterback.
They got worked.
Syracuse in a couple weeks after that. Like, this, are they going to get the 4 wins this year? I don't know. They got Duke late in the year, NC State late in the year.
I don't know. There's nothing redeeming that I've seen from this team in 4 weeks so far. Maybe the first drive against TCU, didn't they go up 7-0 or something, right?
They did. They had a good opening script.
Crazy. I'll give some credit to UCF, though. We thought they were going to be terrible. They're sitting here at 3-0 right now, though. So
3-0.
Now we'll see. It's about to get real for them, though. They got K-State this week, and it gets worse for them, as we move into November. But we'll find out. Kansas took it to West Virginia. West Virginia falls back down to earth after winning the backyard brawl last weekend. It's 41-10. At least 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Jalen Daniels. Not much really there. I didn't watch this one yet. I'm excited. Probably first thing I do once I get off this. Arizona State Baylor. This game was also live when the Wyoming game was going on, so we were checking in a little bit here and there. Sawyer Robertson, though, he goes 25 of 39, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns again, all for a loss again. I mean, he's putting up numbers. He seems to be like the engine behind this team. Bryson Washington did have 111 yards, only one touchdown.
He leads the conference in rushing this year. Washington does. And it's like Robertson is lighting it up. It's like, what's the issue here?
I'm very interested to find out because
Josh Cameron lost 2 fumbles. That'll do it.
That will do it.
That'll do it. In a 3-point game, that'll do it.
Yeah, only 1 sack, 5 TFLs though. I don't know. But ASU, Raleek Brown, 21 for 80 yards rushing. He's a good back, man. He's not Cam Scattaboo, but he's a good back. They've got a stable of them there. Sam Levitt played decently well. Kind of a quiet game from Jordan Tyson. He catches the only touchdown. But this was I'm pretty sure this was kind of a late win, right? Like this was close late into the game, and then ASU scored a touchdown, I think, to come from behind and win this one. So ASU now 3-1, Baylor 2-2.
They'll get back on track this week.
Last game was just BYU over East Carolina. We'll talk a ton about that one later in the week, but 34-13 for the Cougars. Bear Bachmeier, 18 of 25, 246 yards, a touch. LJ Martin goes over 100 with a touch as well. Bachmeier only ran 5 for 26 and a touch. Go ahead.
So that was a 6-3 game with 56 seconds left in the first half. Eastern Carolina throws a pick 6 from their own end zone.
Oh, wow.
So BYU pretty much has like a 2-yard pick 6. And they go into halftime of 13-3. But again, that was a 6-3 ball game with a minute left in the first half. So again, I've said it. BYU hasn't played nobody, especially up to the caliber of Colorado. And it's going to be a big first test for their true freshman quarterback. And they're gonna lean on that run. They're gonna lean on LJ Martin and Bear Bachmeier's legs before they feel like they have to put the ball in the air. And that's going to fall on this defensive line. Right, they were banged up a little bit this past week. Talking about Colorado, no BDS. Tawfiq Thomas is out. Lightfoot is still out. So, yeah, it's going to be a big test. We just got a game time. You see that?
I did.
5:30 p.m. Mountain Time for Colorado TCU in a couple weeks.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
For real.
We might be home before midnight that night.
Let's go. That's big.
Yeah, that's lit. All right. Well, with that, we're going to head on out. We'll be back tomorrow. We got Coach Prime Presser tomorrow. We'll have assistants and players again on Wednesday as well. I mean, we're just it's a machine now. We just keep churning. I mean, it's kind of just a pattern. So it is what it is. You guys know what to expect. Hit that like button on this show, man.
Like that.
If we don't get at least 350 likes on this, we're not doing any more Monday.
Let them know.
But hit that like button for sure, though. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.